So, Brian and John, I've had Parkinson's for 6 years now. I'm just over the honeymoon period. I'm sort of entering the mid phase. You've had Parkinson's for 11 years, and I think you've had it for 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
So, what can I expect in the next decade or so?
So what I've found is little things become more noticeable. My handwriting just gets smaller and smaller. My typing skills are non-existent now. And this happens all gradually over time. It's a bit like how do you boil a frog? And if you throw it in boiling water, it'll jump out. But if it just slowly rises up, well, with Parkinson's, things slowly get worse. And you don't even notice it till you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, look how hunched over I am. I got to do something about that. And then your memory's gone, so you forget to do something about that. Little things like that.
Is it similar for you, John?
Yes, but nowhere near as eloquently put. But yeah, I mean, it's all gets worse by gradual degrees.
So I've noticed that already. Like every month or every few months, there's a new symptom, and things get slightly more difficult, and you have to recalibrate all the time. So how do you overcome that psychologically? Because I think that's the one thing I find hardest, is knowing that it's only going to get worse.
You can hold it still for a long, long time. I mean, I don't know if this is your experience as well, but my experience of deterioration is it tends to be stepwise. You'll have a sudden period where you go downhill really very sharply. And I find that quite unsettling as well, because you don't know whether you're going to pull out of this dive, so to speak. And then you do level out. You then can be just like that for a long, long period of time. But it's those steps which are quite unsettling.
I found a good measure of that is your prescription. So I'm now, just went from 3 Cinemet a day, now I'm up to 4 or 5, and I can see a day coming when I may need 6 or some other medication.
Are those the 50 milligram tablets or the 25 milligram?
50. So this is the calibration. It's like having a meter to test how things are going.
Yeah. And how has your medication changed over time?
It's generally been stable for quite a while, and I've actually reduced it recently because of the DBS as well. The DBS, in some cases, can completely remove the need for medication. It's taken it down by about 20%, I suppose. I could push it further and just ramp up the electricity and decrease the number of drugs, but I don't see. Seem comfortable with this at the moment.
Have you had side effects from long-term use of medication, like the dyskinesia?
So recently, in the past 6 months, I've had this head bobbing thing, kind of like this, which I attribute to many years on Cinemet, and the more I think about it, the more it becomes prevalent.
It's one of those things, isn't it? The moment you're aware of it, it's like if you're running downstairs. If you think where you're putting your feet, you end up in a heap of broken bones at the bottom of the stairs. But if you just do it automatically, you don't.
So that brings us on to another topic around falling. I hear that's one of the big risks of Parkinson's, certainly in the later stages, is falls. Have you had any experience of that?
I have had some significant experience of that in the last few months. Usually at night is when I have my falls. They're usually in the dark. In my case, I think part of it is I sleepwalk as well, which is not brilliant. But the real problem with falls is that people break things and they go into hospital, and we Parkies generally don't fare very well in hospital, to be honest. Mainly because, as much as anything else, because our medication is not provided on time. That's one of the big bugbears, I think, of all of us, really. We don't get the medication when we're meant to.
So is there anything else I should watch out for? I mean, falling and freezing.
So I had
when
a
you cross the
fall,
road is another.
fell on my back. On my back I had a backpack with a bottle of wine in it.
Ooh.
So I get up from the fall and I feel this liquid dripping. I go, blood, oh my God, I'm going to die. Well, it turns out it was this bottle of red wine that had broken.
Is it a good red wine?
It was actually a birthday present for my daughter's partner.
Oh, that's too bad.
So it was good. But falling, I've fallen and one other time, and part of it is tied in. I have vision problems, spatial contrast and all that, so going down steps I have to be really slow and focus. You have to be focusing on what you're doing, not get distracted.
So the other one is there's all this unpleasant stuff like bladder and bowel and sexual problems. Is that something that gets worse with age as well, with the length of time you've had Parkinson's?
So bladder issues, I have a thing called a radar key. They have these toilets that are for this radar key, and it comes in very handy sometimes when you get the urge. It's nice to know there's a place you can go and you've got the right key to open that door.
So the other one I have is constipation, but I have a high fibre diet for that. I eat a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables, and I find that actually solves the problem quite nicely.
I mean, I take fibre and things like this in sachets and whatever, if it's particularly problems. I generally try not to worry about it too much. I tend to drink less if I'm going out, so I'll take on less fluid. If I'm in an unfamiliar environment and won't have access to toilets particularly. So, and that in turn, of course, doesn't help constipation and so on. So
yeah, they say drink 2 litres of water a day. Well, if you're going out,
there's no chance of that at all. That's never going to happen.
So I'm dehydrated most of the time I'm out.
Yeah, so same here.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
By the end of the day, if I've been out, I've come back, and then I'll have a few drinks to rehydrate.
Right.
But
So the other one I'm not sure we want to talk about on camera is sexual dysfunction. Is that something we want to discuss?
Viagra is a wonderful thing. That's my comment.
If you're interested in finding out more about Parkinson's, subscribe for a new video every Thursday.